Hey guys, Zach from FCA here. As we turn our calendar into April, I want to talk about a new topic on our social media accounts. Last month, we dealt with the number one topic that you guys as coaches and athletes said that you deal with, and that was the idea of anxiety. And I thought that was interesting that it came up in March, right in the middle of this COVID-19 pandemic that hit. Now we're sitting at home, our schools aren't in session, sports teams aren't practicing or playing, and so you might be listening to this message struggling with the fact that you can't connect with friends the way you were able to before, or connect with your teammates, or be a part of these communities where you felt at home. And it's in those moments that the enemy begins to play games with our hearts and with our minds and tells us messages that are so far from the truth. And one of those messages is our topic for April, which is failure. You know, we all have dealt with failure at some point in our lives, whether it's athletes who have lost games or had bad seasons, or whether it's just people in general when they come up short on an expectation or a goal that they were to have. We've all dealt with failure, but it's how we respond to it that is the most important. If we use it as a learning block, if we use it as a way to get better, that's a positive way to use failure. But if we're not careful, the enemy wants to get into our minds and wants to give us these messages of you are a failure, you don't measure up, you're not good enough in God's eyes, which is so far from the truth. In my devotion today in the book of Numbers, I was reading about the story of when the Israelites were wandering in the desert, and they got to the point the first time where they were supposed to go and take the promised land that God had given them. And so they sent scouts out ahead to see what was happening in the land. And what they found there were these giant people, these giant beings, and fear overtook them. And in their moment of perceived failure, they turned away from God and they let the enemy take control of their minds. And so they came back and they wanted to turn around and run away and forgot that God was with them. But in the book of Numbers, in chapter 14, Caleb and Joshua said this to them. They said, "Do not rebel against the Lord, and don't be afraid of the people of the land. They have no protection, but the Lord is with us. Don't be afraid of them." We're going to explore this month the topic of failure through Bible verses, through devotion, through some videos. And I just want you to hear these words again that Caleb and Joshua said to the people. Don't be afraid. The Lord is with you. God bless you all.